Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1, City are back. We can't do that again. We can't do that again. What's the narrative this week, everybody? It's only Ipswich. It's only Chelsea. What are we doing this week? What's the narrative? Because it's flip-flopping every fucking week at the minute, and it's unbelievable. But Blues, Manchester City fans, hold your heads high, because the treatment of Abudkodir Khusanov yesterday was absolutely fantastic. After a debut to forget, in all honesty, let's say we need to move on from it. But I am going to go into detail about it because it's the day after, and we're going to talk about it. The treatment that he got from all the Manchester City fans, the ones at the ground as well, having watched the game back, absolutely sensational. The round of applause that he got coming off just after half-time. Pep was trying to save him there from the humiliating act of subbing him off at half-time. He wanted to, obviously, but he brought him off just after half-time instead to protect him a little bit. So I thought that was great. The applause that he got was fantastic. The Manchester City fans on social media as well, because you've got the luxury of hiding behind keyboards and phones and whatever device you're using to give your opinions, because it's very easy to hide behind there and give your negative opinions, but you've done incredibly well, and I just see mostly 99% of it has been absolute first-class support, because it's harder to do this, what I'm doing right now, talking down the barrel of a camera, talking down the lens. Much harder to give opinions, and you have to have integrity. And I've said some things on this channel recently. 30 big chances Manchester City have faced in 7 Premier League games. The most in the Premier League Manchester City are facing. So that brings into the question is, what can we do to alleviate that? I'm going to look at Orga and Edison and give a reason as to why Orga could potentially be starting for Manchester City and should be starting, which is my solution to prevent the situation.
Well, never one to be predictable. Pep Gvardiola's again caused sensation by selecting Stefan Ortega ahead of Edison in goal.
Nottingham Forest, I feel there was cracks in their performance yesterday. They got off to a great start against Southampton, but 2 goals conceded late in the game. 1 cleared off the line. They should have dropped 2 points yesterday. They got away with murder. Cracks in Nottingham Forest yesterday, and they'll only continue to show. So don't come to me and when people say, oh, an unexpected loss for Nottingham Forest. They're going to drop points.
5 against the informed Nottingham Forest.
Robert Sanchez in between the sticks for Chelsea. He's a bit of a dodgy keeper this season, to be honest. I think we can expose him.
I'm not sure what the goalkeeper's doing. He's not good enough, him.
As much as our defence is a problem, I just don't think you throw 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds straight in to a starting 11 against Chelsea, who, while we're trying to get into a top 4, they've been here for 5 minutes. One of them doesn't speak a word of English. I think it's incredibly risky and very presumptuous of Manchester City fans to think these 2 players are going to be our saviour for the rest of the season. That is a huge amount of pressure.
Oh, it's a moment where you feel like crying for the lad.
We've all got degrees, master degrees in hindsight, haven't we? We're all geniuses after the fact. After the fact, we can all talk our waffle and go on about this player was this, that player was that. We can all do that, but getting it right before the game, before the football takes place, that's what differentiates the frauds from the know-hows, and that's why you should be smacking that like button, what you're playing at, if you haven't already, and hitting the subscribe button as well, because you're going to get insights on Typical City. I've told you many, many times, you're going to get insights, and that's what we're going to do here on Typical City. But let's talk about that debut, because I was so pleased to see the support that he got. But I do have concerns still. I do have problems with the whole aura. Dare I dream of a world where we support all of our players in the same way? Just because he's a brand spanking shiny new toy, we protect him. That sentence that I kept hearing throughout the game and after the game yesterday. He's only 20. Give him some time. Completely agree. Absolutely spot on. 100% accurate statement from every Manchester City fan that said such a thing. Do you want to go on? Just do us a favour, though. Do us a favour. Just go and check the date of birth of Rico Lewis, yeah? Could you do that? Could you go and have a look at date of birth of Rico Lewis? Because these are the same fans that are saying, wonderful support, fantastic for Khusanov, and I agree, absolutely concur. That's how you treat a youngster. But all of those same fans are calling for Rico Lewis's head and wanting him sold, get him out of the club, nowhere near good enough. But they're also the same fans that somehow want to give James McAtee a chance out of the fear of losing James McAtee and having another Cole Palmer situation. And those are the same fans who are now insulting Cole Palmer for him going missing against Manchester City yesterday. Yes, he did. He had a poor performance. But they have the audacity to insult Cole Palmer following that. What are we talking about here? That's not even double. You're looking at quadruple standards there. Do you know what I mean? The levels of absolute flip-flopping, just blowing with the wind, whatever you feel like, whatever suits the narrative. We got to stick together. We got to support all of them. If you wear the Manchester City shirt, then you support them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are, how long they've been at the football club. I absolutely agree with the statement that 20-year-olds deserve time and deserve respect and deserve understanding. So Rico Lewis, who isn't having a great second half of the season, I actually thought he got off to a really good start. And I agree with the criticism. I don't think he's been playing well in recent weeks. That's not me thinking he's a genius and he should be playing every game. I just see City fans calling for his head. Do you know what I mean? It's absolute. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. It really is. But Abudkodir Khusanov, I feel for the guy. I genuinely feel for the guy. It wasn't a great day, and I mean, I appreciate a lot of what the City fans are doing is glazing over his performance as well, and saying that he steadied himself after that. I mean, I'm not sure that's true, to be honest. I think a lot of his passes were pretty simple. The ones that he got right were basic. But I mean, straight after that, he gave the ball away. Cole Palmer nearly goes through on goal and he has to commit a foul that gets him in the book, So I don't think he steadied himself that well, but I absolutely believe the future of Khusanov is going to be great. I love what I see from the YouTube clips we've seen on Lens, and that's what we're judging him on, basically, as well as the 54 minutes that he played against Chelsea yesterday. And I thought, you know what, he did okay after that. He did steady himself in regards to not keep giving it away. He did manage to amass, around 80% passing accuracy after that. Not great, but still, he was all right. You just want the City players and the City fans to continue the support that they've shown this youngster, And dare I say it, we would love to see the same level of attitude being applied to all of our players. Can we just support them all in the same way rather than picking and choosing favourite players here? It's, you know what I mean? It's like, these are human beings. When the PS5 came out, do you know what I mean? Everyone was like, fuck the PS4. Put the PS4 in the cupboard. Let it collect dust. I don't give a shit about it anymore. What a piece of crap. But that's a piece of plastic. That's a materialistic object that you're done with it because the new, shiny, new toys come in. We've all got to get behind that and love that. And go, oh, what a lovely, shiny new toy we've got. Do you know what I mean? But it's not a piece of plastic. These are human beings. Do you know what I mean? They need our support, every single one of them. And that includes Rico Lewis. So that's my concerns from the outpouring of support that Khusanov was shown yesterday. And I'm so happy that I saw what I saw yesterday. Brilliant. Just, come on, apply it to everybody, please. Unbelievable performance from City yesterday, in truth, considering the performance we saw against PSG, poor against PSG, incredibly poor. Kind of came out of nowhere because prior to that, 6 games undefeated. Really, really good. Let's have a look at the player ratings. Edison. I thought his distribution was really, really good. Bagged himself an assist, of course. Other than that, Edison didn't really have that much to do. You weren't thinking of any world-class superstar saves that he was making in that game. Chelsea didn't really test him that much. Anything he did save was expected to be saved. But again, his distribution and the use of Edison in that man-to-man system that Chelsea employed onto the pitch was, that's exactly why Pep picked him, in all honesty, to get those long balls to Erling Haaland. And as we saw for the second goal, and Erling Haaland made use of it. We've seen that many, many times from Erling Haaland. Even Aguero, I remember a goal against Huddersfield years ago. It was exactly the same, man-to-man systems, and we can punish teams. It's an underrated weapon of Manchester City, that is. Good performance from Edison. It was good. Stones, who came on for Khusanov in the 54th minute, nice and steady, kept it simple. I think he showed his experience, not much to speak about really, because I don't think really Chelsea tested us once John Stones was on the pitch, but everything Stones did, he kept it simple, nice, steady, experienced performance from John Stones, and I would be surprised to not see him start, unless it's an injury, of course, in the next game. Against Arsenal and Club Brugge, I think Stones has to start, in all honesty. Akanji. People wanted to blame him for Khusanov, and I get why you just don't want it to be Khusanov's fault. I understand you're thinking you don't want it to be Khusanov's fault. That's why you want it to be Akanji's fault, because he's a bit more broader shoulders. He's the one who could probably, a bit longer in the tooth. He could probably take it on the chin. But we're not criticising players for not doing anything wrong. I'm not criticising Akanji for saying he should have cleared that ball. I'm sorry, but Khusanov made the mistake. He made the mistake. Let's own it, man. Fucking be real. Where's your integrity? Be honest. Akanji didn't make a mistake in that game. I'm sorry, he didn't. He didn't have much to do. Kind of similar to the rest of the defence, because I don't think Chelsea were testing us left, right and centre. Akanji did not make a mistake in that game, to be honest, but very little defensive work to actually do. But, it was okay. I don't think Akanji's been great this season. He has definitely declined, but I still believe he was harshly treated after that game, and people wanted it to be his fault and not Khusanov's fault. Speaking of Khusanov, I blame you, Pep Gvardiol. Like I said, shouldn't have started him. It was too big a risk, too immature. He's a player that just wasn't ready for that stage. He should have been starting against Leyton Orient, play the full 90 minutes against Leyton Orient. That was going to be his debut. That should have been his debut, where he just gets that out of the way, get the debut done, probably bags himself a clean sheet because it's Leyton Orient. You'd expect a clean sheet. You never know though, but still, nice game to just slowly bed him into this Manchester City 11, you know? Again, like people said, was he solid after the mistake? He got booked after the mistake, and he gave it away numerous times after that as well. So he will bounce back, though. I am adamant that he will bounce back, and I do think we've got a quality player that we could look at sort of a reverse Mangala debut here, where Mangala had an absolutely sensational debut against Chelsea. Following that, it was absolute crap. You know what I mean? This could be the reverse. A shocking debut for Khusanov against Chelsea. Following that turns into a superstar. I'm hoping that's the case, and I believe that will be the case. And we absolutely do have to get behind this kid. And yeah, well played to the City fans that did yesterday. Absolutely spot on. Gvardiol, attacking qualities shone through in that game. Dribbling, as you can see, 5 out of 5. Brilliant. Really, really good from Josko Gvardiol. Bags himself a goal. Missed a couple that, to be honest, he should be hitting the target. Still, you know, could have had a hat-trick yesterday, Gvardiol. He's our left-back and he could have had a hat-trick against Chelsea. I still want to see him improve in the defensive departments here and there. He goes a little bit wayward in terms of his positional awareness. And it's not always because he's so high up the pitch and being caught, you know, because of his position and what Pep's asking him to do. Sometimes it's just basic marking and back post defending, little things like that from Gvardiol. But again, very, very young for a player that's doing the things that he's doing is incredible. Really, really good from Josko Gvardiol going forward yesterday, though. And yeah, huge involvement in the goal. In a lot of what we did yesterday in the goals that we scored. So I thought it was a good performance from Gvardiol yesterday. Gundogan. Nobody seems to be talking about him getting better. Do you know what I mean? Again, something I'm always going to do on this channel is be fair, honest, show your integrity, people. Because, I mean, we've all been slagging off Gundogan all season, but the last few appearances he's made has been pretty solid. Pretty solid from Gundogan lately, and I thought he echoed the most recent performance from Gundogan yesterday where he was good. I thought he was pretty good, kept things ticking. It's just good to see. And I want to see City fans support the older players just as much as the younger players. You know what I mean? Anyone who wears a City shirt, let's get behind them, because I think Gundogan yesterday definitely showed signs that he's finding his feet again in a Manchester City shirt. I don't think he's a long-term answer to anything, but I think he's definitely on the up and up. Really good from Gundogan. Kovacic, so important to us for the rest of the season. If we lose Kovacic, I think that's could be the difference between getting in the top 4 and not getting in the top 4 this season, and potentially winning an FA Cup or not winning an FA Cup, because Kovacic is absolutely pivotal to Manchester City this season, and the role that he's had to play in Rodri's absence, he's doing a good job of it. He really is. He made quite a few mistakes in the first half. I thought he was a little bit sloppy in the first half, but there was a huge improvement in that second half, and he broke up the play really well, as you can see with the number of tackles he's got. Yeah, really, really good from Kovacic yesterday. Again, very pleased with the midfield yesterday, considering the names that were there, and those same names, when you're thinking Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, you're thinking, uh-oh. But there wasn't an uh-oh yesterday. There was no uh-oh. I thought it was good. I thought we were good in midfield yesterday. Nunes showing a lot of maturity for that position. You know, this is brand new to him, playing right back. He's never done it before in his career, and he really showed a higher level of understanding for what's required in that position yesterday. Considering recent performances, he's been rash. He's been flying in. He's been giving penalties away against United, one against Sporting Lisbon. He's just a little bit hot-headed, and for someone who's playing right back, you need to cool your jets a little bit yesterday. But he did exactly that. He picked his moments to come forward very well yesterday as well, because it's got Josko going forward on the other side, and he often just sort of sat a little bit and allowed Josko to come forward and let that back 4 become a back 3, with him being the right side of it a little bit, and sort of protect as Gvardiol goes forward. When he goes forward on the other side of the pitch, Josko Gvardiol comes around the other side and sort of fluffs up that defence and prevents any sort of transitions to go against us. So the pushing back and forth nature of Josko and Nunes, timing between the two of them was really, really good. So I was impressed by Matheus Nunes and getting forward at the right times. He's learning, he's improving, and again, an important player considering we don't have an out-and-out right back, full back, to be honest, at the club. Good to see Matheus Nunes have such a good performance yesterday. Phil Foden, man of the match for me, getting back to his best. Really, really, really good performance yesterday. Solid in midfield, lovely touches, lovely footwork, great finish at the end. I just expect it to continue now from Phil Foden, because we are starting to see the same Phil Foden that we saw throughout the entire of last season. It's such a shame that Phil Foden had the start of the season that he has, but now the last 4 or 5 games, the level of quality that's just shot through the roof again for Phil Foden. It's good to see. It really, really is. Absolutely buzzing for Phil Foden. So man of the match for me. De Bruyne came on, kept it simple. Not much else to say in all honesty. I thought he kept it simple in midfield. Not too many minutes to speak of, but yeah, good from Kevin De Bruyne. Be interesting to see if he starts as many matches as people think he will. Now Marmoush is wearing a Manchester City shirt. It'll be interesting. Bernardo Silva, decent. A good defensive contribution from Bernardo Silva. Simple in midfield. I thought he was a vital component in that midfield overload that we saw, where we saw Kovacic, we saw Bernardo Silva, we saw Ilkay Gundogan. It was a midfield overload. And with going around the outside with Josko and Nunes, and just in front of them with Foden and Marmoush, it was good. I thought they all three of them played a vital part. And again, very deep at times. Bernardo Silva had a little bit more tendency to drop deeper than Gundogan. But still, again, kind of similar to Nunes and Gvardiol's understanding, the symmetrical understanding of the two players. I thought you could say the same about Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, and the pushing and pulling nature of those two players in the midfield yesterday was really, really good. And again, not amazing, not exciting. Let's not get carried away, but I thought it was really, really good. And we were better than Chelsea's midfield, which cost 200+ million, do not forget. Marmoush, lively, exciting, good. I was pleased with what I saw. Defensive work rate hasn't really been spoken about enough for me, because I thought he put in a really good, strong defensive performance. He's unlucky not to get some goals. He needs to chill on the offsides a little bit, because he was a bit of an eager beaver yesterday. Wanted to prove a point, would have loved nothing more than to get himself a goal on his home debut for the Manchester City fans, and he very nearly did. Of course, he was offside for it, but he was caught offside numerous times throughout that game, three times, in fact, in the space of that first half. Just needs to chill a little bit, rely on himself. Believe in yourself, mate. Your pace will get you there. You don't need to be offside. Time you run a little bit better. He'll do that. It was just a little bit of rush of blood. One moment that was slightly disappointing in the second half, I felt like he could have used... it was difficult. Was the pass on? Wasn't the pass on? There was a moment where he could have passed it to Phil Foden, and we could have got ourselves a second goal. And I felt like that was on. If he was a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker, he went for the shot. If you're going for the shot there, mate, you've got to be hitting the target, and he put it over the bar. But still, there's clearly an absolute world-class player here that's going to be, the envy of the Premier League. And they're going to be talking about, City just spend money and go and buy the best players, mate. Yeah, worth it, mate. Marmoush, absolutely. I think we've got a player here. I think we've got a proper player here. And I cannot wait for the rest of the season to see what damage he can do on the rest of the Premier League. Finally, Haaland. Hold-up play was good. I thought he was really good. Got himself a goal, got himself an assist. Kind of that's his job, mate. That's his job. He was on the pitch. He was on the pitch to do that, and that's what he did. Bagged himself a lovely assist as well. Really good hold-up play throughout it. He was utilised incredibly well with that long ball from Edison on more than one occasions as well. His hold-up play, like I keep saying, absolutely really, spot on. The finish, sensational. It's what you want from Erling Haaland. And again, it's just been a good performance all round, really, barring the Khusanov mistake at the beginning of the game and the nerves that were jangling for Khusanov. Other than that, I think it was absolutely, not perfect, but, close to what we want from Manchester City. And we absolutely deserved the 3 points yesterday. But what do you think, Blues? Get in the comments below. Let us know. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now. Holding up Silva.